Hey guys, what is up? Happy Monday. Coming to you with some, see that? Postal Brew, Americano, courtesy of Ray. It's delicious. Right up front. Team Block, 20% off. Comment, like, subscribe. Man, not a ton happening at the moment. I went back on a couple things. People have wanted some updates on the Griffin stuff and a couple other things that I've been working on. So that'll be in next week's video, just because I'm waiting to hear back on some stuff. Coming off Hero Week, coming off Murph. I like to take a little breath here going into June. It's just so busy. Everyone's so busy with school and graduation and school ending that it's kind of like, I don't like to bombard people too much, but I got a couple ideas coming up into July for 4th of July. I want to do a couple t-shirts maybe. I'm kicking around some stuff. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully everyone enjoyed the Hero Week, right? I know it's important to understand what Memorial Day is really all about, and then I like to move that through with the hero workouts, and I just think they're important. It's a huge part of our community and keeping those stories alive and all that good stuff. I think the biggest thing is I'm working on a couple videos with Joey, but the one we just released last week, if you haven't had a chance, it's about our member Caitlin, who was diagnosed with breast cancer. So if you haven't given that a watch, make sure you give it a watch. I think it's really powerful, and I think there's some really good messaging in there, and I wanted her, if she was comfortable, and she stepped up to the plate and killed it, not only to talk about her story, because I think it's cool, and it's important, and it's powerful, but like, I think there's a messaging in there about early detection, you know, and it's one thing I've wanted to look at as the gym, as we move forward into kind of this next phase, you know, like, and by that I mean, you know, we've gone through this phase of like the competitive game stuff, and that's still there, but then I've really started to try and be introspective in what do I want, and this is something we work on a lot when I do these Lululemon things, is goal setting, vision, where do you see yourself, just kind of being introspective, and that's something I really wanted to try and look at, is like, where's the gym moving, right? And obviously the foundation of everything we do is going to be CrossFit, and training and building strong bodies and minds. But then what does that next evolution look like? And trying to look at health and wellness as a full spectrum, right? Bringing in Kevin and Stacy, bringing in dietitian and nutritionists, bringing in experts to talk about stuff, and looking at health, like, fuck, man, bringing in someone to talk about colonoscopies. I know that shit's weird, and I'm not saying I'm gonna do that, but I'm just saying, like, there, just in the same way I talk about there's no point in busting your ass in the gym if you're gonna go eat McDonald's. I'm not saying every now and again, I'm saying every day. You can't out-train a bad diet, right? Now, if you just want to hold this kind of status quo, but you know, you still want to have pizza and drink some beers, there's nothing wrong with that. But once again, what is your goal? What is your purpose? But the point I'm trying to make is all of this is pointless if you don't go and get blood work done. If you don't do breast examinations, if you don't, when you're 45, go get a colonoscopy. It's fucking awkward. I know people don't like to talk about this stuff, but the shit is real. Like, I'm gonna give you a great example about me. I am freckly. A lot of freckles, okay? I'm English on one side of my family, Italian on the other side. I go to the dermatologist every 4 to 6 months. And people are like, really? Yeah, I don't want skin cancer. When I go to the dermatologist, and I get it because, you know, they can't really tell you to get like naked. They just say like, you know, dress down as much as you are comfortable. And I tell them every time, I will get butt ass naked because I don't want cancer. So you know what I do? Because I don't want them to feel awkward, is I fucking take all my clothes off except for my underwear, and I hike that shit up and make it a bikini brief because I don't want cancer. I understand that at some point I'm probably going to get it, right? We have a history of melanoma in my family. My mom died of cancer. But fuck, man, if we can get it sooner. And it's the same thing that people always talk about. You know, well, you're going to die anyways. You know, what's the point in training and then you just wind up getting cancer? The best quote ever is always, yeah, but if you're going into a storm, I'd rather be in a battleship than a dinghy. Yes, awful shit happens. People get sick. People do meth their whole life and they live to be 90. Doesn't mean meth is a good idea, right? So yeah, building a battleship, right? What does that look like? And not only physically, like we're doing WODs, but flexibility, mobility, holistically, mentally, right? All these facets, and that's what really fires me up. Like that's the stuff I wanna dive into in the next 10 to 15 years. That's kind of where I see the trajectory, right? Because CrossFit itself is a great methodology, and I always adhere to the methodology, and the sport of fitness is fun, but we obviously see some wane in that area because, you know, like trends ebb and flow, right? Like, you know, we talk about High Rocks is popular right now. And who knows, maybe it'll continue, but it'll have a high water mark and then a low water mark, right? We saw a massive uptick in cycling during COVID because that's all you could do, and camping. And now what? It's still there, but it's not as crazy, right? At one point, I was selling 15 skateboards a day, every day, back in the early 2000s when I ran the skate shops. I want you to just fucking wrap your brain around that. 15 a day. There aren't even skate shops anymore. Like there's none. Active, gone. Icon, gone. Leroy's doesn't sell them. Like it's crazy. So I always try and forecast like what is that next thing? And I think for us, it's community, it's building a battleship, and then it's well-rounded. Like we project that in CrossFit, like well-rounded fitness. That's the beauty of doing CrossFit, right? It's like, what is it? Master of none, right? Like being mediocre, like you're just like kind of good at everything. You never really master any one thing. I think there's another side of the coin that, and not just us as a community, not just Block, but I'm just saying CrossFit in general, like we don't spend enough time on. We focus on this one thing because it's hard. And that's what I'm trying to figure out is time, right? Because like, yeah, I'd like to do all these things. I'd like to do more events. I'd like to, you know, but there's only so much time. You know, like if I were to do, let's say clinics, you know, on the weekends, well, there's 52 weekends a year. 6 of them are gone just based on like Mother's Day, Father's Day, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, you know, 4th of July, like, and if holidays start landing on the weekend, like you can easily see how you eat up, you know, 10 weekends of the 52. Well, now you're down to 42, right? And then you have another 10 or 15 that are just eaten up because of whatever else. So it's like you only potentially have, you know, it's like when people complain about like, why would they schedule it on this date? And it's like, well, fuck, man, it was the only day. Just the way it goes sometimes. So I don't know, just some stuff to think about, stuff that's been on my mind. But the big takeaway from today is that some stuff we're going to be talking about moving forward, but also really dive into that Caitlin video. It's incredible. Joey did a great job. She's amazing. Let's go get it. Thanks, guys.